Welcome back for another episode of Science is Josh? Josh? Where's Josh? Thank you for joining us for our episode of Science is Awesome Halloween edition. Josh, that was pretty scary. Today, we're going to be doing kind of a Halloween themed science experiment. We're going to light this candle and we're going to put it out using invisible gas.
CO2 to be exact.
That's absolutely right, Josh. CO2. So all you're going to need for this is
baking soda, a candle.
You're going to need a lighter to light this candle. If you're doing this, make sure your parents light the candle for you, and make sure that there's nothing flammable around because fire can be very, very dangerous.
Vinegar.
Yeah, just regular household kitchen vinegar.
And 2 empty cups.
Yep, and 2 empty glasses. The size of the glasses are up to you. We're just using some old kitchen glasses.
Before we get started, we have to go to Dad for the cool fact of the day.
So in spirit of Halloween, I thought I'd get a cool fact about Halloween itself. So did you know that we actually used to carve turnips, beets, and potatoes? And it wasn't until the 19th century where we turned jack-o'-lanterns or pumpkins to make jack-o'-lanterns, because when the Europeans traveled over to America, they found the pumpkins to be larger and easier to carve. And today, we all use pumpkins for our jack-o'-lanterns.
Now go get your stuff for our cool science experiment.
Okay, so welcome back. I hope you have your stuff. So as Josh said previously, you're going to need 2 empty glasses, vinegar, a candle, a lighter for the candle, and your baking soda. So in order to put this candle out using CO2, what do we need to do first, Josh?
So, we gotta make CO2.
Absolutely. And how are we going to make CO2?
We're going to take this, pour it in one of the cups, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And take the vinegar and pour it on top of it, the whole thing really quickly.
Okay, right.
And then it makes CO2.
Right. So this is a common science experiment that you've probably seen where you make a erupting volcano. So we're going to do just that, but we're actually going to make CO2 and we'll explain it along the way. So Josh, why don't you start by pouring in the baking soda? Okay, a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. So now so we have our baking soda in the bottom of our empty glass, and now this is our vinegar. Josh is going to pour it in quickly, and you're going to see that it's going to fill up. And it's going to cause a reaction. It's going to fill up, and now as it settles down, what we're actually left with in the top half of this glass is CO2. So we're going to let that go down. So now it looks like we don't have anything at the top of this glass, but we actually do have some CO2, and we're going to transfer the CO2 from this glass into our empty glass right beside it. And the way we do that is just simply by pouring it. Make sure the liquid doesn't go in. It may look like you're not doing anything, but the CO2 is actually heavier than air and will actually fill up this gas. Okay, or sorry, fill up the glass. So now that we have our glass of CO2, we're going to light our candle. And Josh is going to just pour it over top and watch. And you see, just by pouring it, the CO2 put out the candle. Now CO2 is actually what's commonly found in a lot of fire extinguishers, and so it's obviously used for putting out fires. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for joining us for this episode of Science is Awesome. I hope you had as much fun as we did, and I hope you learned a little something too. So we hope everyone has a very safe and happy Halloween. Goodbye!